Seeking the truth never gets old, even when it hides in the shadows. Immerse yourself in the world of June's Journey, a free-to-play hidden object game set in the roaring 20s. Solve the mystery of the devious gossip spreader and celebrate our 7th anniversary with exclusive events, never-before-seen decorations, thrilling mysteries, and exciting giveaways. The adventure and the gossip awaits. Are you ready for the journey? Download June's Journey today for free on Android or iOS.
Interrompemos esse podcast para uma notícia imperdível. Cidade de Deus, a luta não para. Assista a nova série da Max com estreia dia 25 de agosto. Produzida por Fernando Meirelles, baseada no filme. Mas com uma nova história sobre o tráfico, a milícia, corrupção e resistência na favela. Imperdível mesmo. Saiba mais em max.com.
In 2005, two brothers hit the road to fight monsters. That road has led them to fighting demons, angels, and saving the world.
It's a journey that is taking them to heaven, hell, and back. But they aren't done.
Join our journey as we go episode by episode, following the adventures of Sam and Dean Winchester. We break each episode down with the writers, producers, directors, crew, and actors to bring you the behind-the-scenes stories of how this legendary TV series was made. That guy right there, that's Rob Benedict. He played God and Chuck Shirley.
Hey, and that guy there, that's Richard Spade Jr. He played Gabriel, Loki, and the Trickster. And P.S., he directed a bunch of episodes, too.
Now, while we are insiders, we're also outsiders, because we're not experts. This is our first time watching the entire series, all 327 episodes.
Rich and I have met many of the fans at conventions around the world, and we are deepening our understanding of why you all love this series so much. Because it's really good.
Yeah, it is. Now, listen. There will be spoilers, so consider yourself warned.
And thank you for joining us on this trip we call Supernatural Then and Now. Hey everybody, I'm Rob Benedict.
And hey, I'm Richard Spade Jr. What?
And we are talking about Season 6, Episode 2, 2.5 Men.
Yeah, we are. You're darn tootin'.
That's right, 2.5 Men.
I was told there'd be no math.
And hey, by the way, remember what we told you last episode? The same is still true. Everything must go. We're having a fire sale at spnthenandnow.com. So go get 40% off everything until October 31st. We need to make way for this new merch. It's big.
It's brash.
Merch is big. It needs a lot of space.
I got to tell you something. You need to know this if you're listening at home. It's not a traditional fire sale where there's been a fire in the building.
No.
And consequently, everything is now for sale. It's a fire sale, meaning if you don't buy something, Rob and I are fired. So we need you to go there and buy something.
Please.
We just do.
Please, we need this. We need this podcast.
We need this gig.
Well, let's see if we can answer some of our Season 6 questions some more by diving into this episode.
All right, Robert, take it.
The episode opens with a shapeshifter hunting and killing a set of parents and then stealing their baby.
We don't know it's a shapeshifter.
Wait, it's true. We don't
know it's a shapeshifter.
No, we just know it's something. Yeah, and it could be like a serial killer. And
we know that a baby's in trouble.
And just as a father of a 7-month-old baby, this episode rattled me. I'm just going to say that right off.
Good pun. Rattle.
Oh, true. Speaking of rattled, Dean is rattled by the close call with the Djinn and moves Lisa and Ben into a new house. And I just, for the record, I know I'm pronouncing Jinn wrong. Jinn, but I like to say Djinn.
Djinn.
Lisa's concerned after Dean shouts at Ben for handling a gun from the trunk of the Impala. Sound like Dad, anybody? You know what I mean?
Right.
Dean is concerned for their safety, but with no imminent threat, Lisa tells them they need to start living their lives.
They've got to start living, Robert. Come on. This is the CW.
I thought that was funny in that one scene. He's like, you're not going to help your mother with the boxes? He's trying to keep the kid from going outside. Help your mother with the boxes?
Yeah.
And then he's like, come here. And he takes her away. He takes him out of the kitchen to have a talk with him. He's like, well, what happened with the boxes?
Forget the boxes. Stupid dumb boxes.
Meanwhile, Sam and Samuel are investigating the murder of the couple with the baby. At first, they believe they might not be dealing with something supernatural at all, just a normal serial killer. Sam enters the home to look for clues. Sam is attacked by an intruder who runs off after Sam slashes him with a silver blade. And rather than run after him, like you might do, like, oh my God, that might be the killer, the guy that just, nope, he stays there and looks some more and finds the baby. Sam calls Dean and really leans on him to come back to hunting. He needs him. He needs his help. So Dean goes out to meet with Sam and notices the baby in the back seat. That's right. He's got the baby. Hey, can I just pause this for a second and also say we haven't really talked about this on air. It's very disconcerting that Sam's driving a different car.
Right? A little weird, right?
Sam's driving sort of a new souped-up version of their car, a black... Is that an Impala? I don't know what it is. It's a sports car looking black car. And then Dean's got a truck because Dean's retired.
Yeah, he's retired.
Very disconcerting. This is not the supernatural that I'm used to. Where is Castiel? Okay, back at Dean and Lisa's house, Dean is showing her how to use a sidearm. Dean is concerned about leaving Lisa and Ben alone.
Yeah.
She playfully tells him that she will shoot him if he doesn't join Sam and the hunt. Bit harsh if you ask me, but...
I don't think you should joke about firearm safety in this day and age. I think
not when you're holding one in your hand.
No,
you know?
I think Lisa's... you know what? I don't think you should have a sidearm if you can't be responsible.
I agree. Dean meets up with Sam and suggests they get baby supplies for the road.
Cue comedy soundtrack.
Yeah, comedy montage where Dean turns out he knows how to do this because he's babysat nephews or nieces of Lisa's.
I don't know. You know what? John Showalter, the director, does a nice job with the reveal of the baby, by the way. I wanted to point that out. There's some great, like, when Sam first lifts up the tablecloth and sees the baby, his reaction's great.
Yeah.
Jensen's reaction is great.
Yeah.
And then John, like the timing of revealing the baby. Yeah. Maybe I was just out to lunch, but I didn't know it was going to be a baby. I was like, what are they looking at? So I fell for the gag and I thought it worked really well.
Since I have a baby right now, I speak baby. So I knew it was going to be a baby.
Right.
But I can see where you wouldn't. But no, and you're right. The reveal of the baby is funny.
Right.
Cute little babe. So at the store, they're buying diapers, formula, lotion, and the baby starts to cry. They're unable to soothe it until a stranger approaches them and holds the baby so it stops crying. Dean notices the stranger is a shapeshifter because there's a camera, like at grocery stores, how there's a
high-end security camera 6 inches away from where you're standing.
Yeah, that's right. He turns and he looks, and he notices that the stranger, in a very actually spooky shot.
It's cool though. I mean, I know they
they
had to make it work, but like the glowing eyes.
I thought it was very cool actually, and I didn't think until this moment that, that's not realistic that there'd be video cameras there.
It didn't bump me.
No, it didn't bump for me either. And so they notice because she's got like burned out eyes that she's a shapeshifter. And Dean threatens her. It's pretty funny. He says, but I stab you.
Shapeshifters' eyes glow, but your eyes don't glow if you're a ship shifter.
What does a ship shifter do?
Somebody who makes a ship a little bit safer for the passengers and the crew. Like a safety officer.
That makes a lot of sense. So he threatens to stab her in the neck if she doesn't give the baby back, much to the shock of the people around them. She takes off. He tackles her. They get the baby back and they escape.
Takes a big chunk of the woman's skin, by the way.
Yeah, which just so that we know that it actually is a shapeshifter. And then they escape in Sam's car.
I made this comment to you, I think, before we started recording, but the store manager is very nonchalant about half the woman's arm skin being gone.
I know. There's a funny moment too when Dean is like, I'll stab you in the neck. It's like, whoa, what are you doing? Sam doesn't know yet. Sam's like, what? Anyway, back at the hotel, Dean cares for the baby while Sam goes out to investigate. The taller brother discovers that the baby is the result of a woman who had sex with a shapeshifter.
Whoa. Family show.
Well, that's how it happened. She mated with...
No. They make a baby together. They don't do the nasty.
Well, she thought it was her husband, so...
Right, but I don't think that's how babies are made, buddy. That's a separate thing.
Oh, gosh. All right. She had sex with the stork.
Whoa.
That's right.
First of all, his name is Jared Padalecki. Do not call him the stork. That's rude.
The woman had sex with a shapeshifter, thinking it was her husband. So Sam calls Dean with the news just as the baby sheds its skin in what might be, well, so far, grossest thing of this season. The baby, you hear this like, and the baby just squirts blood and goo on the wall. Very gross.
Yeah.
And again, very troubling for me.
Did you think it was going to be poop? Because babies always poop on the wall? Poop?
No, I saw blood and I was like, the baby just imploded or something. I didn't know.
Oh, bad stool. Oh, yeah.
No, not bad stool. That was something worse than that. And it sheds its skin, and now it resembles the baby on the diaper box, which was a white baby. Now it's a black baby. The baby is crying.
That's a very funny moment, by the way, when he reveals.
Yeah. He's
like, when he goes, I think a baby's a shapeshifter. And Dean's like, you think?
Yeah, the baby's crying, and a knock comes at the motel door. A, quote, policeman, who we realize is a shapeshifter because we saw the shapeshifter kill the actual policeman, forces his way in And it's an adult shapeshifter who wants to take the baby shapeshifter to our father.
Probably the dad of the shapeshifter, I guess, right?
Which is really freaky. Our father, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Sam arrives and kills the cop shapeshifter. The boys then take a drive, wondering what to do with the baby monster. They decide to bring it to the Campbells.
The warm and fuzzy Campbells.
The warm and fuzzy cousins. Once they arrive at the Campbell compound, Samuel Campbell gives the baby to Christian and his wife to raise. They believe it could grow up to be an effective hunter. The alpha shapeshifter then arrives, and it's strong. It's like a freaking superhero, and it takes several shots of tranquilizer to slow it down. Right now, it resembles Mitch Pileggi, Samuel Campbell.
Right.
But it succeeds in escaping. It's shot all to hell, and it still escapes with the baby. And they go into that other room, and then it becomes Sam, and then it becomes Dean, and it strangles actual Dean, takes the baby, and leaves.
For starters, Dean does act really interestingly when he comes in with the baby and he doesn't want to give the baby up. It's kind of an interesting sort of paternal vibe that he has of the baby wanting to protect the baby, which is kind of fun.
For sure.
And then Mitch as the alpha is great too. Just like using his back to fire the darts right out of his skin.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was well shot. This whole thing was well shot, this whole sequence, because there's a lot going on. So afterwards, they're walking back out to the car, and Dean accuses Sam of using the baby as bait to attract the alpha. Sam denies it. Later, Samuel is on the phone with a mysterious figure and tells them that we will bring them the alpha. Okay. And then back at Lisa and Dean's house, she tells him it's best that Dean be on the road with Sam and that she'll always be there and he'll always have a home to return to. So he unearths baby and dramatically hits the road with cool music playing.
Did you like that shot? Something that we didn't hit in here, where they go into that whatever bunker with the baby, and the alpha approaches the window, and it's Sam. It's Sam Winchester. Sam Winchester's looking out the porthole window, and Sam Winchester shows up in the window. It was a cool shot.
Oh yes. When they're hiding from the shapeshifter. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sam, they kind of. There's two Sam Winchesters for a minute kind of fighting each other. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I didn't see it coming where Sam Winchester's looking out the round window and then boom, other Sam Winchester right there.
Yeah, for sure. If we're talking about sort of the positives, I really liked that whole sequence and that the idea this alpha shapeshifter turns from Sam into Dean so seamlessly. It's not like gross, like with the skin and all that. It's just like, boom, I'm this person, I'm that person.
That was cool.
But besides that, what the hell's going on? Like, what's up with... Why is Samuel has a secret?
Sammy has a secret.
Why are the cousins so mean?
I don't know.
What's up with Sam? Something's going on with Sam?
No clue.
And Dean has a bad haircut.
A lot going on. A lot to unpack in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into our Rob and Rich ratings.
Well, let's hear a little more about what you thought of it. You heard my asides.
I think this is a step in the right direction. I think it's an improvement from episode 1, which I didn't know what to make of.
We were confused.
I love Mitch Pileggi again, and I think Mitch Pileggi coming back as the alpha is awesome.
He's the best.
Some of the humor works really well, and the whole two dudes trying to figure out how to deal with the baby. I also think the shapeshifter elements are super gross, like when they go past the cop and then see the dead cop and then
that was great.
Boom down to discover the goo on the ground.
Yeah, I wonder how they shot that. It was just sort of a split screen or what?
Of the same dude being there?
Yeah,
I think you just do the shot twice.
Yeah, or they hired a twin. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, actually, could be.
Showalter did a great job directing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of humor that works, and Dean giving the baby some whiskey is awesome. Like with his finger to old 1940s sort of trick of give the baby whiskey to calm it down.
1940s, 2024. You know what I'm saying?
When I'm saying give the baby, I don't mean give Rob Benedict. I mean the actual infant.
Sorry. I thought, because you know how you call me baby sometimes?
Well, I'll turn to the handlers like, can somebody give the baby some whiskey to calm it down? Yeah. So, again, step in the right direction. I still think the Campbells are kind of cold overall as a clan. But I also thought, like, what is Dean going to do with this baby? Like, Dean's like, you can't take the baby. I'm like, well, what's your master plan?
Yeah.
There's a big leap in, like, family's been killed. There's a baby around in this small town. It seems like the two dudes stumbling around the grocery store with a baby would raise eyebrows.
Would alert the authorities.
Yeah, given the fact that the town must be on edge from all the dead babies.
Yes.
Dead families.
Yes.
And disappearing babies.
Yes.
They kind of leapt over that little story point. But no, I thought it was fun. And still can't figure out what's going on with Sam Winchester. definitely something up.
Yeah.
But it's playing, again, the whole Pileggi thing made it really interesting, and the alpha male and the whole concept of it, and they don't know how to kill it. Kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm still confused. I'm used to sort of kind of by the end of each episode, I know where we're going, and I really have no idea where we're going and what's happening and how it links to where we were at the end of season 5. But all that being said, there were a lot of elements in this episode I really loved. Like you're talking about, some of the shots with the shapeshifter were great. Mitch is great, and Corin Nemec and Cindy Sampson's great. That last scene is really good with her telling Dean to go ahead and hit the road.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice to see Baby back. At least we have something.
You finally got your baby back. Probably got his baby back. Dean driving his car. Baby is back.
Baby back. So
with barbecue sauce.
In terms of a beard, I'm not going to look it up because I feel like I sort of know. But I'm going to give it I'm trying to think of who has a patchy beard. Oh, you know who has a patchy beard? Is Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke has a patchy beard.
Okay, Ethan Hawke. I'm giving this an Anthony Kiedis mustache, like the new Chili Peppers mustache.
Solid.
Because it's a solid mustache. What it's doing is doing really well.
Mm-hmm. It's no beard.
It's no beard, and I'm still getting used to this new season.
Yeah.
So it's really no fault of the episode as much as the tonal and visual difference between what the show was to what it is now still has me sort of off balance. Anthony Kiedis has a nice mustache, kind of looks like a 1940s cop, clearly dyed jet black, but that kind of makes it work on him because he's a rock star. So, singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, for those who don't know. But right now he's sporting a mustache. I'm going to go with the Anthony Kiedis mustache. But again, not a full beard. I feel like there are moments that are great. Mitch Pileggi is alpha, so great. Some of the moments with Dean and the baby and Sam Winchester and the baby are great. The baby's great. Baby stuff is super cute, but there's just elements I just can't. I'm still adjusting, man. I'm still in the
same
early days of getting used to what this season is.
Well, and I want to clarify my beard. The Ethan Hawke, which in my memory is patchy. It's pretty patchy, and to me that's what's going on right now. That's patchy. There are elements that are working, but it's not a full beard because I don't know what's happening.
Yep.
And I miss some of the elements that to me had made Supernatural so enjoyable last season. So
I get it.
Hanging on.
Well, we're going to find out more about this episode. You know why?
Because we got an interview with John Showalter.
Darn right, the director of the episode. Rob, fill us in.
Well, he's a seasoned television director and producer. He got his first start editing for TV. However, it didn't take long before he started directing for such genre-defining series as The Ghost Whisperer, Without a Trace, The Mentalist, The Flash, Cold Case, The 100, and Threshold. That's right.
Threshold makes an appearance here finally.
He directed 26 episodes of Supernatural and served as a co-executive producer on its final season. He also directed 2 episodes of The Winchesters, where he also served as the supervising...
He was the producing director.
Producing director, yes.
Exactly. Well, let's get the guy on screen and at the microphone and start talking to him.
Let's do it.
First of all, John, thanks for doing this. And I have to ask, because you are a longtime friend of Phil Segresha, and yet here you are finally showing up season 6. What took so long to get you involved in the show?
Well, I showed up in season 5.
Oh, wait, what did you do in season 5? What did I forget?
The one you guys trashed.
No.
Did we hate it? No, we didn't.
I did Jeremy Carver's Dead Man Don't Wear Plaid.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
That's up 3 octaves.
But nonetheless, you were not one of the original gangsters.
But to answer your question, it wasn't Phil cut blocking me. It was Bob to a certain extent. Phil loved the show. I always tell the story that he and I and a buddy of ours, Chris Long, is also an excellent director. We go out for beers and we're all bitching about TV and the state of TV. Phil starts talking about the stories, but we don't realize that. He's talking about Sam and Dean. We're like, dude. Anyway, he goes to the bathroom. Chris Long and I are talking. I was like, my God, he's talking about the characters in the show. And we were kind of busting his balls about it. And then we both look at each other and went, God, I wish I had that passion.
Yeah.
He just loved this show. And obviously, you guys know, did a great job.
Yeah.
We go back to, 70, 80 years. We go back to Chicago days when we were cameraman editors and just worked our way up to doing this.
Wait, so you knew each other in Chicago?
Yeah.
Wow.
How did you meet there?
I was on a show called PM Magazine, which was kind of a way to move up from TV stations. We both started at TV stations. I was in Denver, Iowa. He was in Michigan. And we got hired to work out of Chicago at a national bureau and do magazine stories for a show. And it was great. When Phil was out shooting for a week all around the world, I'd be back editing my stuff, and then we'd switch off. I'd go out on the road, shoot.
Wow.
And then we both got hired out here. I do like to tell people I got hired a week earlier.
Nice.
But yeah, ever since then. And then...
Well, what'd you get hired? When you say you got hired out here, for PM Magazine or for a different show?
For Telepictures was starting up kind of a news magazine type show. And we worked out of the, what was then the Imperial Bank building in Sherman Oaks. And we had to pick a job, so we both picked editing. Kind of gave up shooting. And yeah, that was about it. Oh, I had a kid. Phil didn't have a kid. Molly wasn't around yet. So he was able to do an internship or whatever at MGM. And it was right at the time all the editing systems were leaving film, doing linear, nonlinear, tape. But it was like 100 different systems in like 5 or 6 years. And those film guys couldn't learn those things.
Right.
They were used to cutting film. Phil and I, being an online editors and all that background, were like, yeah, sure. So he didn't edit very long before Singer gave him a shot to direct. And I don't know, it's kind of a...
And that was on Lois and Clark or something? Like, what did he...
That was in the 80s. That was on...
Midnight Caller.
Midnight Caller, thank you.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, I've lost touch with Phil. I think his career's kind of died out.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, this is really more of a fundraiser for Phil.
We're back on
it's
his
called
feet.
Pass the Hat for Phil. Still a thing Rob and I started.
Here we are, season 6 of Supernatural. Now, did you notice, since you started in season 5, did you notice a difference between Kripke's Supernatural or versus Sarah's?
Not really. They all had kind of different styles. I directed 1 or 2 of Sarah's. I mean, Kripke was obviously, it was his baby.
Sure.
But you're also coming back to a show where the writers didn't come up. So it wasn't like you were used to having Kripke next to you, because you weren't. And the crew was the same. So I imagine it wouldn't have felt, I bet it felt way more different in the writer's room than it felt in the production side.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because Phil, to answer your first question, I didn't get hired till season 5. You go out and have beers with Phil, and he's telling you every storyline. Sam did this and Dean did this. And I didn't really watch the show because I was like, I finally told him season 4, I go, Phil, if I'm not good enough to direct it, I don't want to hear about your dumb show.
I don't.
So, and then the night before I was to fly up there, I didn't have a script for Dead Man. And thinking back, I did listen to that one, and you guys made some valid points. Some awful ones, but some valid points.
I can't even remember.
But I'll tell you what I remember liking about it. Like the storyline with Jim and his wife was like really brutal and heartfelt.
That one?
Yeah.
No, we love that.
And all the zombies were on me. Mark Baloche was just under Ivan at the time, and he would get 1 episode a year, and we clicked. I said, we got to kill more zombies. So that we took that to 11.
Nice.
But I go in to meet Kripke for the first time Thursday night, and I go, okay. He goes, this is a big show, but you'll get a script in the morning. And okay. And Johnny Mac's the best. He'll tell you exactly how much time everything's going to take.
Johnny Mac, the first AD.
Yeah, we also lost him.
Yeah,
not too long ago.
Him. That was tough. So I fly up there. I got my little bags, go to the office. Hey, everybody. Johnny Mac looks at me and says, "You're this is 10 14-hour days."
Oh my God.
Oh, great. Nice to meet you. I got to call Phil and I go, that guy I was supposed to trust on all my timings just told me I'm screwed. So went from there. So a lot of Jeremy had to go after the script pretty brutally, but
it worked out.
A couple months later, because you don't hear anything, you immediately think you shit the bed.
Right.
And Bob calls me up a couple months later and goes, well, Cuddy, you want to do another one? Okay, Bob.
Nice.
He was in that Bob fashion, but I knew the guy, so I went, this is as excited as he gets.
Well, that's great, because obviously you did well and started a relationship that would last you for the next 10 years. Little did you know.
Little did I know. There was a point where I was not happy with some of the scripts I was getting. So I think it was at year 11. I was getting all the standalones, and some of those can be tough because sometimes the crew wouldn't get into it, and it was tough to get people excited. And I did one that was pretty good. And I called my agent and said, I'm done with Supernatural. I mean, doing 5 more is not going to help my IMDb. And then my sister calls me and says she's got this friend whose kid has cancer and loves the show. And he and his brothers play Sam and Dean and Cass. Can you get them an autograph? Which I never did. Never asked those guys any of this because I know how much you guys make at the conventions.
Especially Benedict.
Yeah, right.
So I wrote the boys. So look, I never do this. Can you send this kid an autograph picture? They write back and go, yeah, okay, we looked into this and we're going to fly that kid and his family to our next convention.
Oh my God.
I went, holy crap. So that May, you get calls from the agent, Supernatural sniffing around. I said, whatever they want.
That's nice.
I'll do 1, I'll do 10, I'll do the worst scripts they have. And then I ended up writing it to the end.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. And by the way, being the gentleman from the mothership, as you like to say, who shepherded the spinoff into existence. He was the producing director. John's the producing director on the Winchesters.
Yes, he was.
Hey, this is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We are going to take a quick break.
Interrompemos esse podcast para uma notícia imperdível. Cidade de Deus, a luta não para. Assista a nova série da Max com estreia dia 25 de agosto. Produzida por Fernando Meirelles, baseada no filme. Mas com uma nova história sobre o tráfico, a milícia, corrupção e resistência na favela. Imperdível mesmo. Saiba mais em max.com.
Dona do lar? Eu sou dona de mim.
Se eu nasci pra casar? Não, eu nasci pra brilhar. Este é o lembrete de L'Oréal Paris para que você nunca se esqueça do seu próprio valor. Porque a sua história é valiosa. Porque você vale muito.
Hey, it's Jeffrey D. Morgan again. Welcome back to the podcast.
So let's talk about this episode a little bit. Let's start with working with the babies. That was a real baby for the most part, right?
No, that was a computer-generated baby. I know babies, and that was all CGI.
It was all CG.
Was it? No.
Face replacement.
No, those were real babies.
There were 3 sets.
Those were grown men in baby
Stop
costumes.
it.
3 sets of real babies, and they're just as difficult to work with as Spade.
Yeah, I imagine.
That's an insult to babies everywhere.
No, it's how professional they were.
They actually kind of look like Spade. No, but they, you know, how you got the reactions in the back seat of the car, where the baby seems to be laughing, and then you get the baby crying in the grocery store. Yeah, that couldn't have been easy.
No, the car thing was interesting because it's scripted that Dean gets in the car and he's crying. I did notice it. I just rewatched it. So I usually don't watch them on the air because then it just kills you what's missing.
Right.
So the baby's supposed to be crying, but I didn't have it when I shot the boys in the car. And Dean's supposed to go make a face and go, does it always do that? And Sam goes something to the effect of, yeah, you get used to it. Flash forward my last day, I have the baby and I have just shooting him and rolling because he did know his lines. And all he did was smile. And I don't mind being tough on an actor, but I'm not going to pinch him to cry.
Yeah.
And so I had the idea, okay. So I changed it to the baby farts. Sam
Nice.
Does it always do that? Yeah, you get used to it.
Oh, funny.
That kid, all those kids were great.
Yeah, they really were. Because as a father now of a 7-month-old, I was feeling it. I was like, a baby.
Yeah, the grocery store, I don't remember. I think we just got lucky and he started getting fussy.
Yeah,
I did nothing to those kids, though. I didn't.
You did great because,
whatever the baby was going to do, he was going to do. I let the baby full control of the story.
But honestly, we joke about it, but you do have like animatronic babies sometimes they try to use on set, or I've even worked with just a doll that you're like pretending is moving around with your arms as you're holding it. So, using real babies for these scenes, it actually has an emotional impact. And then it kind of matters to you at the end when they're like, oh, I'll take him. And your heart kind of feels for that kid,
Yeah, I've used, fake babies to stunt babies, I guess. And it just, whenever you can tie them into the shot, like when Dean's being put up against the wall.
Yeah.
And the kids there looking. Yeah, obviously we had dummy babies for all the action stuff.
Right.
But
you never saw it in the cut.
Oh, gosh, no. I never noticed anything that wasn't a real baby.
Right. And I'm kind of keyed into that stuff, and you never noticed it.
there's a shot when the lady in the store first grabs him or runs away, and I went, you kind of tell there.
Huh.
But
Let me tell you something. You can't tell, but for you, who's a filmmaker, and for Rob and I working the business, I knew it was a fake baby because you're not going to have an actress take a baby and sprint down an aisle. Like, so there's a logic thing there.
Yeah.
But visually, wouldn't have known.
I felt the same way about that actress, to be honest. And when he tackles her, I was like, well, that's not that actress. But I really never saw it. I never saw the stunt person even in that scene.
right.
I thought in that scene specifically, I thought, well, the store clerk who's there to help her is
Fired.
very helpful, but also very nonplussed that half the woman's arm skin is missing. Like she's like she's kind of blasé about that detail.
Yeah. Just one more thing about the baby. The first scene under the bed, that's pretty terrifying too. Like that baby's so well behaved, does such a good job, and she's got her hand over the mouth and everything else. Like,
Yeah.
terrifying.
Well, he read the script, so it helped. But it was crazy. It's like this kid is not freaking over anything.
Yeah.
A quick side story here. I directed an episode of Lucifer where the entire episode is about a baby that won't stop crying.
Oh my God.
And so we had twins that we would have to swap out when they were fussy, as the reverse of what you would usually do. So we were swapping in the baby and they're crying. Meanwhile, the woman who wrote the script, Jen Amata, was a new mom and nursing.
Oh my
and
God.
the sound of the baby crying was destroying her.
Oh.
And she's like, "You're shooting too much baby crying." And I flipped the script and like, "Your words, the baby never stops crying." I'm like, "Jen, what do you want me to do?" Like you wrote an entire episode.
Yeah.
Baby.
It's like shooting a car chase. They're like, not in the car so much. I mean, like it is what it is.
Were you doing something illegal? Were you pinching him? Or?
No, we'd wait till like one baby would kind of get like fussy, and we go, okay, let's put that baby in, and we'll just isolate shots, just like you do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're going to shoot from here, and then we'll just kind of rotate and shoot different perspectives so they can be across the room looking at the baby or whatever. There's only one or two where I needed the baby being held and upset, and those are obviously the worst. They suck for the actor, they suck for the mom off camera, and we'd be very quick. As you know, like you're just like, we're rolling, everything's happening, put the baby in, like bounce the baby, improv some beats, and then wrap,
Yeah.
be as painless as possible.
Basically, those kids never got a nap through your whole shoot.
Essentially. But in fairness, I also didn't get a nap. It was, so I thought if they can't nap, then I won't nap,
That's why my baby Margaret will not be a baby actress.
Oh God, no.
Now, this is before Jensen and Jared had kids. How were they with the baby? Babies.
They were great because I think it worked because they didn't have kids.
Totally.
I'm not sure what their nieces and nephews situation were, but they were a little awkward, if I remember correctly.
Which makes sense because you would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was part of the pitch of this episode too. It's like it's the two men and a baby kind of thing. Like,
yeah, we can handle all these monsters, but not
but a baby,
a baby monster. No, they were great, and you probably know this too, Richard. The only power a director has is to not yell cut because all you guys have to stay in character if you're pros,
right?
And so when I was editing, it always drove me nuts of directors that would yell cut too soon, like right into the dialogue. And you'd be like, but I want a moment to breathe or whatever, or I want to do a transition. So I started directing. I was like, I had that tendency too. And I went, wait a second. All right, count to 10 and then yell cut. On Supernatural, I used to count to 100 because the boys were so great. So when Jensen goes over and does the whole thing with the whiskey, that was all him.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great bit.
Oh, that's great.
They're great at that.
Wow.
Come on, cut already. Jensen would go forever. Jared would go for quite a while and then say, come on.
You had a couple of, what's interesting now that I think back to Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid and the Jim Beaver storyline with his wife.
I was just teasing.
No, but I'm thinking you got handed some emotional stuff in both these episodes, the couple stuff.
Yeah.
Because you had the Jim Beaver and wife thing was super intense, and Jim was really moved talking about it. And then you had that again. This whole season 6 has put Rob and me on our heels because it's so different than season 5. So you're really kind of doing a little bit of uncharted territory for this show in the emotional storyline between Jensen and who's the character name of the wife?
Cindy Sampson's character, Lisa.
Cindy, yeah. So Lisa and Dean, do you feel an affinity for that kind of stuff? Are you notably good at that kind of stuff, or because it works very well? I'm just curious. You got handed 2 of those scripts, so is that just by luck, or is that your wheelhouse?
I don't know if it's my wheelhouse. I would always tell Phil and Bob, give me the funny ones. There's some other ones coming up. I got a Ben Edlund, so that's going to be
Yeah.
And we were able to take the comedy and that up to 11. But I do like, if I got good actors, I like the emotional stuff. I didn't necessarily like the emotional stuff on Without a Trace, but you got Jared and Jensen. They both deliver, and all you got to do is maybe do a fine tune. I would hardly ever give them notes. I would just go ahead and do a second take, and they just instinctively knew, oh, okay, I'm going to give them something different.
Mm-hmm.
But I had 2 choices in the bay. And they were just great at that stuff. So maybe that was the difference between Sarah and Eric. Maybe she wrote, because there is some more stuff coming up in this season.
It's more sentimental out of the gate as a viewer, as I'm watching this first 2 episodes, because he has a relationship. Typically in this episode, that's why I reference to Jim Beaver. That was a relationship Jim had with history and story. And this was also that to a certain point. And so it's different than what the boys usually have in terms of relationships.
Right. And there's, I guess, thinking about that particular season, there's some stuff coming up that's hopefully he'll get a tier or 2.
Oh,
I do like that stuff, but also as a director, that's all on the actor.
Right.
It's like, you can't, it's tough to direct that stuff.
Right.
You can't say, can you
be more emotional? Yeah.
Right.
Be more emotional. The scene at the end, when they come up to the plan to come back and forth to each other.
Right.
I thought Jensen was great. I thought she was great.
Cindy was great. Cindy did a great job with that. That's not an easy role to play.
No.
Yeah.
In many ways, especially in the old design of sort of CW, it can almost sometimes feel like it could be thankless in the wrong hands. But I thought she did a really nice job, and you did a nice job directing it. And obviously, Jensen's a great partner in crime on screen for that. So I thought it works really well.
And then you get to shoot that scene of him unearthing the baby again. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Some cool angles you had there. You also had a really cool thing in the fight with Pileggi and the cousins, where you kind of like come around behind them. I think it's handheld. You come around behind where they're standing to see the shapeshifter come through, and I think it's Mitch at that point.
Yeah,
some really cool shots, and they were great. I did notice too the shots in the in that last scene where he does baby. Really great sort of shots of Dean in the car.
Yeah, that was another one that there's more film there, but Bob and Phil ruined my art.
You ruined your vision once again.
Once the check cashes, you let it go.
Exactly. I have a story question for you. How much information did you have about future storylines? Meaning, this is really weird. Again, I'm referencing Rob and myself being
we've never watched
before,
this. So this is a mystery to us. What's happening?
So 601, 602, Sam's acting real squirrely. Mitch Pileggi's acting real squirrely. So I have no idea what they're about, what's going on story wise, and how much information did you have to know how to steer the show?
As far as I remember, none. I would. Because it's the old thing with actors, don't invent something, just let it be new to you. So that's the way they treated directors. So I was like, all right, you would have a tone meeting, which thank God Supernatural had the shortest tone meetings ever.
Yeah.
But you would get the gist of like, okay, this is going somewhere. And it's like, all right, Cindy is not off the show, but she's going to come back in some capacity, throughout the year. And there's a spoiler alert, but she's anyway, that's an emotional one too, her departure from the show. But as far as knowing the future, I was kind of like you guys, like after COVID, Danneel had a great idea to watch the show with her husband. I can't remember his name. Danneel, who played Sister Joe.
Yeah. We're familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that guy. He's kind of fallen by the wayside too.
Yeah, worried about him. Yeah. This is also a fundraiser for him. We're going to split the revenue.
Yeah, the Ackles family.
So we did the Zoom show that they would talk and Jensen would tell her about a particular show because the gag was she never really watched the show. And so I did it with them and I got the editors from Supernatural and we knocked one out and it was a lot of fun. Great. And I told them, this is kind of what I was on Supernatural. I would go up there and say, I really like this show. I like doing them. I'm not necessarily a viewer. So production I said, give me all the back stuff that I need to know for the storylines if I hadn't seen it on TV or anything. And so that's what we did. The thing with Danneel was great. We were all going to do it for free for charity. It turned out too good because then the studio and network and commercials, and they wanted to put it on the air. And I was like, after you pay the licensing fee, there was no money for anybody. So I always, I'll do it for free or I'll do it for my rate.
Right.
So it kind of died on the vine.
Huh.
But hopefully someday they bring that back.
Yeah. Lord knows this isn't cutting it. We need to add a little spice to this podcast.
100%.
You know, what's funny is that this episode was written by Adam Glass, who wrote the one episode of Cold Case that I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't think you directed that one.
No, I did two. I came on Cold Case in his last season, and I did 2 episodes.
Okay.
The first one was great. It was really well produced. I can't remember the producer's name, but when she told you were out of money, you believed her.
Wow.
Because she was so good at putting all the dimes on the screen. And
that's cool.
It was so that show was fun. I wish I didn't start doing it till last year because I was tied up with Trace, and I was really, oh man, this is fun because they would buy the music, they would strip it out for foreign, but you could do a lot of needle drops and stuff. I don't know how they swung it, but
wow, yeah,
that's awesome.
Did you have a good time on your episode?
Yeah, I had a great time, and you really got close with Adam because he was on set the whole time. And I played a total dickhead, but I was like the bad guy of the episode. But
typecasting,
yeah, so it was typecasting, yeah, for sure.
One quick question for you, John. On top of this, and then I think Rob has one too. But what was it like working with Mitch Pileggi?
It was great. It was. I thought I might be intimidated because I loved X-Files, but he was pretty chill.
He's an intense dude.
He's intense,
but a sweetheart.
Yeah,
intense.
Yeah, but did you have shows with him, Rich?
We put him in a sitcom. Rob and I.
Yeah,
he's plays a role in Kings of Con, and the funny part is he has to handcuff Rob. He plays a cop. He has to handcuff Rob. I'm directing the sequence. I'm not in this part of it. And at one point, he's squeezing Rob's hands really hard, and then we got what we needed. And I'm like, cool, but let's just do one more for me. Just joking. And so Mitch did one more. I'm like, oh, well, oops, sorry, Rob. Like he he's a literalist, and he's like, okay, let's do one more. I'm like, oh, okay. Then he just jerked Rob around one more time.
He was really cuffing my hands behind my back.
Yeah, I know.
It hurt like hell. And you can see in the scene, I go, because he's really, really whacks it on my, like,
I did one of those on Trace. I had Mark Pellegrino and Mark Shepard in the same episode.
No way.
That's cool.
And so I met them before Supernatural. Mark Pellegrino was really intense. He played like a Russian mafia guy and stayed in character the whole time.
Wow.
That sounds like Mark.
Yeah. And Mark Shepard, as we know, was done and loved the guy. But at one point I had to say to Pellegrino, I can't get a word out of you, and I can't get you to shut up.
There you go. You just described the 2 marks. Perfectly.
The 2 marks. But then I had a scene where LaPaglia arrests Pellegrino, and Pellegrino's character has to call up and spit in his face. And Anthony is a really good actor, so I knew he was gonna just take this. Pellegrino calls up something from the depths of hell.
Oh no!
Oh, God.
On LaPaglia. Oh. And it was kind of mean, but LaPaglia had just done something that pissed me off. We got along great, but we would go at it. So I went, as I'm walking over, I said, "Oh shit, we're soft. Okay, one more time." Do it. Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay, yeah, we got to go again. And each time, I don't know what Pellegrino had for lunch.
Well, yeah, you do, because it was on Anthony LaPaglia's nose.
It was.
Hey, look, broccolini, everybody.
I got to take 5.
Oh, you're a monster.
It was. And LaPaglia goes, finally caught on. God damn it, Showalter. What are you doing?
Dude, look, first of all, this is one of many episodes we're going to have you here for, because mathematically, I believe you directed the 3rd most episodes of the show, right? It goes Bob, Phil, then you.
Me.
Yeah. So we're talking to number 3 right now. We're going to have you on many times. Yeah. Thank you for doing this and being part of it.
Thanks, John.
And just a side note, I just think you're great at what you do, and I love working with you. It's been fun.
Before you split, what year did you first start? 8 or 9 directing?
No, season 11.
No, Not 11. You started it, didn't you?
As a director?
11 was, oh yeah, that's right. The Imaginary.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I did those last 5 seasons.
Well, you throw some props back, not BS. You're amazing as well. And it had a lot of fun down in New Orleans.
I know, man.
Directing.
Thank you. And I'm sorry we didn't get to do more of that, but something in the future.
Something in the future.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're going to come back to us again because it's awesome talking to you, and you have many, many, many more episodes to discuss with us.
All right. Anytime.
Thanks for doing this, buddy. Really appreciate it.
John, it's really good to see you. Really good to see you.
Be well.
All right.
Bye.
Hey there, it's Misha Collins. I'm glad you're listening. This is exciting for me because I, too, am catching up on Supernatural. Stick around. We're going to bring you these important messages.
It's Star Wars meets Peaky Blinders meets Ted Lasso. The Galactic Football League series by #1 New York Times bestselling author Scott Sigler is now a free, unabridged podcast. The GFL is a star-spanning, high-action, high-stakes, coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of a professional football league 700 years in the future. That's the Galactic Football League series. Search for Scott Sigler, Sigler, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, guess what? We're back.
Man, I love Showalter. I mean, I love him as a guy. He's a great dude. He's a great interview. He's a great director, and just a kick in the pants. Again, much like his bestie Phil. It
really makes me want to go.
They're hilarious.
Go have a beer with those guys.
Which I've done, and it's worth every penny.
Like recently?
After Winchester's. When I got back from Winchester's, Phil and John and I went out and had a beer.
Was it my number just mysteriously not on your phone, or?
Well, I called Ruth and said, can Rob come out to play? She said, no.
He's got a baby.
He got responsibilities. He got a baby.
Well, yeah, such a good guy and great to see him again. And I always forget because I don't have a good memory. I knew John way back. I knew him back in the day.
Indeed.
Such a good guy. Well, let's go into a realm that I like to call mythology.
Mythology.
Alphas, or alpha monsters, not to be confused with alphabet monsters.
A, B, C, D, E, F, rah.
They're the first of their kind monsters whose sole purpose is to reproduce.
You know what, Robbie? A lot of people think your sole purpose is to reproduce. Elbow, elbow.
That's true.
Wink, wink.
They're often stronger and larger than the rest of their race.
There are parallels in the natural world, such as in wolves, lions, elk, and the Benedict home. Depending on the species, males or females or both can be alphas, much like the Benedict home. Yeah. Where one male and one female, usually Scottish, fulfill this role together. They are sometimes referred to as the alpha pair or the Benedict home.
Or just Ruth.
The Connell Benedicts. Alpha animals usually gain preferential access to food, tea, chocolates, and other desirable items or activities in the Benedict home.
Silver and gold.
Yeah.
Alphas may achieve their status through superior physical strength and aggression.
See Ruth.
Through social efforts in building alliances within the group.
See Ruth.
Or more often, simply by breeding and being the parent of all their pack.
See Rob.
That's very funny. Well, yeah, honestly, until this, I should clarify, until this episode of this podcast, after I watched the episode of you said what was that main shapeshifter? I missed that it's an alpha shapeshifter. I missed that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's why they didn't know how to kill it.
Right. I get it. Now I get it, but it's not in my, doesn't roll off my tongue yet.
Understood. Well, it's time to continue with the laughter and the good times because our next segment is called Fun Facts.
Fun facts, fun facts, fun facts.
Fun facts.
The episode's title comes from the Chuck Lorre sitcom 2.5 Men featuring Charlie Sheen and John Cryer.
Aha. The German title of the episode is Zwei Jäger und ein Baby, which is 2 hunters and a baby.
And in Japan, loosely translated, it means the happy fun boat that has a baby.
That has a little boat.
That has a dinghy.
The Hungarian title is Alvaltozás.
I mean, for all of our Hungarian fans, what is going on? That word ATV, A with an accent, A with an accent, TV, A with an accent, L, T-O-Z, A with an accent, S.
Atvaltozás.
Yes, I'll take it.
Which just simply means transformation.
The security system installed in the victims' houses is from Harper Kane Security. In the show 2.5 Men in 2003, the brother's last name is Harper. Well,
Hey,
that's a tidbit I never would have gotten because I've never seen 1 minute of 2.5 Men.
I mean, I've seen a minute of it because it's all on rerun all the time. But yeah, I wouldn't have known that. So that's good. It's good little fun fact to know.
Oh, great.
When Dean lulls the baby to sleep in the motel room, he hums Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water. I missed that.
Samuel, Mitch Pileggi, refers to Arlene, Christian's partner/wife. Arlene is the name of Mitch Pileggi's real-life wife.
What?
There you go. That's awesome.
Crazy.
Well, listen, man, we're in the step in the right direction.
Yeah.
You and I did not go crazy for the first episode of season 6, but we're moving in the right direction. We seem to like season 6, episode 2 more.
Yeah.
So that's good.
We're a little less crazy.
Yeah.
A little less.
We're a little less crazy.
What?
What do you mean?
I don't know. We're a little more rock and roll.
Okay, sure.
I'm looking forward to see where it goes. I'm looking forward now to seeing where it goes.
Yep.
You got me again, Supernatural. I'm in.
Yep.
Where does it go?
We're contractually in. We'll sign the deal now.
Done. This episode of Supernatural features Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester, Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester.
Guest stars include Cindy Sampson, Mitch Pileggi, Nicholas Ilya, Corin Nimmick, Jessica Heafy, and David Peitkow.
2.5 Men was written by Adam Glass, directed by John F. Showalter.
Editing by Nicole Baer, music by Christopher Leonards.
Executive produced by Sarah Gamble, Robert Singer, and Eric Kripke.
The original broadcast of this episode featured the following songs: Smoke in the Water by Deep Purple.
This episode originally aired on October 1st, 2010.
This episode of Supernatural Then and Now was hosted and executive produced by Richard Spade Jr. and Rob Benedict.
Produced by Stephen Hyden, written by Stephen Hyden and Haida Hosher.
And edited and associate produced by Trey Booty.
By Trey, what's up, Booty?
Music provided by Tim Wynn.
This episode was recorded with the help of Sonic Fuel Studios.
This podcast is from Story Mill Media.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at SPN Then and Now.
And become a member of the podcast at www.patreon.com/SPN Then and Now.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob.
Classic Steve.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Benedict.
Are you now?
Their role will be very important throughout season 2. And honestly, before this podcast, I didn't quite know that's what we were dealing with and that's what this is. But
neither did I, and I'm shocked that we have to go all the way back through to season 2 to understand their importance.
Right.
It feels weird.
Right.
So their role will be important throughout season 6. Got it. Yeah. By the way, nut crickets from Steve Hine on that whole joke.
That whole bit?
I mean, literally, he was like just looking through the encyclopedia, bored. No, sorry, he's reading Supernatural magazine.
Story Mill Media.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
With your long-forgotten name, we call upon you. We call upon you. In the words of the unspeakable language, we call upon you. We call upon you. By the spilt blood of the wicked, who walk upon this world, sprouting the words of false idols, we call upon you. We call upon you. On the land of the dead harvest, that which brings the earth itself into your service, Yamal, we call upon you. We call upon you.
The Sprouting, a Call of Cthulhu actual play podcast by Blighthouse Studio. Find us on your podcatcher of choice.